Hello everyone, welcome to the ITLS Academy. Today's topic is on offenses in food, trials and procedures to launch prosecutions. So let's start with our lecture. The first topic is the enforcement structure and appeal at various stages. So enforcement of the act will happen at various levels as follows. First is your FSO level, next is your designated officer level, adjudications officer level and appellate tribunals. So FSO levels deals with the inspects, collect samples of the food and send the same to the food analyst for analysis within the succeeding working day. Here the food business operator can request the FSO in writing to send another set of samples to an accredited lab of his choice within the same time limit as specified. So after receiving the report from the food analyst, FSO sends the same to the designated officer at that area. Your designated officer level, what happens at this level? An appeal to the designated officer at this level, that is within 30 days time from the date of receiving the analysis report, would be heard, and if the designated officers deem fit, he may send the fourth sample to a referral lab for analysis and re-investigations. So if the analysis report fails, which proves that the food is unsafe, designated officers shall send the case either to the adjudicating officers or to the commissioners depending on the gravity of the contraventions or the non-compliance, and he can also take over the other necessary administrative actions including the show cause, suspensions or cancellations of the license in public interest. Next level is your adjudicating officer level. So it is responsible for handling penalty in the form of fine, we can say. What happens in adjudicating officer level, he has the power to hold the inquiry for the offenses punishable under the adjudicating, and is the final authority to finalize the quantum of the penalty in the form of fine according to the offense committed by the FBO. And upon consideration of the evidences, if he is satisfied that the contraventions has not taken place, he can dismiss the case against such person. So he has the following authorities on how it works, I told you. Next level is your appellate tribunal. In this, if the person, we can say FBO, is not satisfied with the decision of the adjudicating officer, he may choose to appeal before an appellate tribunal within 30 days time meant for such appeal, and if the person is not satisfied with the decision of the tribunal, can file an appeal to the high court within the 60 days from the date of communication of the decision or order of the tribunal. So now the high court has the power, if it is if the person apply for the high court, so the high court has the power to extend the period by another 2 months if it is satisfied that the appellant is being prevented from filing such appeal and there is no further appeal or trial after the high court, and hence the decision of the high court would be considered as the final and binding up which the appeal is being made. And next at short level we can have the commissioner level, court level, special court level. So if we talk about commissioner level, for quantum of the punishment, the commissioners may send the case or to a first class judicial magistrate or to the metropolitan magistrate with the limited power of sentencing imprisonment maximum for 3 years. Next is your court level, we can say it is a very short term. So if while in the process after 1 year it is felt that the term of imprisonment has to be increased, in such case the case would be referred to special court which is empowered to handle offenses related to the grievous injuries or death of the consumers. So all offences not triable by the special court shall be tried in summary, and maybe first class judicial magistrate court having jurisdiction under the code of criminal procedure shall proceed with the trial and give away quantum of the penalty with or without fine, and the decision of the court will be the final. Next is your the offenses and penalties that comes under your section 48 and 49, and recovery of penalty. So various offenses are stated in the act related to mainly on compromising the quality and safety of the food at various stages. It is important to note that the penalty in general would be awarded by the adjudicating officer for different offences under the section 48 and impose quantum of penalty in the form of fine. This can be considered as the most important change from the current PFA, wherein penalty in general used to be imprisonment, and here imprisonment would be imparted only in case of death or grievous injuries caused. Next is your recovery of penalty. If the imposed penalty is not paid within the time, that can be recovered as an area of a land revenue, and the defaulter's license shall be suspended till the penalty amount is paid. Next topic is your offences and liabilities of a company. Where an offence under section 48 of this act has been committed by a company, every person who at the time of offence was committed was in charge of and was responsible to the company for the conduct of the business of the company, as well as the company shall be deemed to be guilty of the offence and shall be liable to be proceeded against and punished accordingly under the section 66 of the act. Where a company has different establishment or branches or different units in any establishment or branches, such company shall inform the concerned licensing authority the name and designation of the head or the person in charge of such establishment or branch or unit nominated by the companies as responsible for the food safety, and such head or the person in charge shall be responsible for all the activities and the compliances with this act, rules and regulations. Such nominations in respect of the person in charge shall be made in prescribed format, signed by the proprietors or any signatory authorized by the board of directors of the company for the purpose. And next is where a company having different establishment or branches or different units in any establishment or branches has not intimated name and designated of the head or made by any nomination under sub rule, and the determination of the head or the person in charge or the person responsible for the food safety in any establishment, branch or unit cannot be made for any reason whatever. The nomination under sub rule 2 above is found to be not in accordance with the provisions of the act and procedure laid down in these rules, then every person who at the relevant time was in charge of the affair of the company or responsible for the conduct of the affair of the company, as well as the company, shall be deemed to be guilty of the offence for the purpose of section 66 of the act. Next is your appeal section, that appeals that comes under your section 76. Any person aggrieved by a decision or order of a special court may, on payment of such fee as may be prescribed by a central government and after depositing the amount, if any imposed by way of penalty, compensation or damage under this act, within 45 days from the date on which the order was served, prefer an appeal to High Court, provided that the High Court may entertain any appeal after the expiry of the said period of 45 days if it is satisfied that the appellant was prevented by sufficient cause for filing the appeal within the said period. An appeal preferred under this section shall be disposed of by the High Court by a bench of not less than 2 judges. Next topic is your power of court to impede manufacturer, that comes under the section 78, existing provision in PFA. Here under this topic, where at any time during the trial of any offence under this act alleged to have been committed by any person, not being the importer, manufacturer, distributor or delayer of any article of the food, the court is satisfied on the evidence adduced before it that such importer, manufacturer, distributor, dealer is also concerned with that offence, then the court may, notwithstanding anything contained in subsection 3 of section 319 of the Code of the Criminal Procedure 1973 or in section 71 of the Act, proceed against him as through a prosecution has been instituted under this Act. Next is your highlights of the cases laws in PFA. Here are some of the highlights that were in the news for some times. Let's consider. First one is the M.V. Krishnan versus the state of Kerala, the prosecutions related to buttermilk, and it was observed that the person selling butter cannot be convicted for an offence under the section 16(1) and section 7 of a Prevention of Food Adulteration Act 1954. Read with rules 44 of the Prevention of the Food Adulteration Rule 1955, as no standard is prescribed for buttermilk. Next is the Supreme Court in M.V. Joshi versus M.V. Shimpi, while dealing with an analogous case of adulteration of butter, observes if the quality of the purity of butter falls below the standard prescribed by the said rule, or its constituent are in excess of the prescribed limit of variability, it shall be deemed to be adulterated within the meaning of section 2 of the Act. The same reasoning will apply when the quality of ghee and its definition for the purpose of adulteration are prescribed by the statute in relation to the result revealed in the Central Food Laboratory for the Richard test. Next, let's talk about the third highlight of the Gujarat High Court case in on sections 378(1). Case filed under the section 2 and 16 of PFA Act and under Prevention of the Food Adulteration Rule 1955 Rule 14. A sample of milk was found to be in conformity with the standard prescribed under the Act and rules. Respondent acquitted by the trial court, appeal filed against acquittal on grounds of failure on parts of prosecution in establishing beyond doubt absolute compliance of provision of Rule 14 of the rule, categorical admission of the food inspector in his deposition that bottles were obtained from local health authority Nadia, who in turn collected it from Gandhinagar, and he had no personal knowledge regarding vessels in which initially the sample food articles was collected was cleaned or not. So deposition of compliance itself was sufficient to show that the complainant was not sure about the status of bottles wherein the samples were collected. Next is your wheat flour kept in a dhaba for preparation of chapatis for sale, and it is sufficient to hold that wheat flour is meant for sale within the meaning of section 213 of the Act. It was submitted by the learned counsels for the petitioners that the petitioners was running dhaba, assuming that he was found in possession of wheat flour in his dhaba. That wheat flour was not meant for sale as such, he was to prepare chapatis and sell them. Suffices is to say that sale of a constituent of finished product in which the petitioner was dealing to the food inspector would also amount to sale within the meaning of section 213 of the Prevention of the Food Adulteration Act. Next is your conviction for selling adulterated milk, sample taken by a food inspector from an area beyond his jurisdiction, trial and proceeding cited convictions not sustainable. So section 9 of the Prevention of the Food Adulteration Act lays down that the central government or the state government appoints such person as it thinks fit, having the prescribed qualification to the food inspector for such local areas as may be assigned by the central government or the state government, as the case may be. Thus, the local area within which food inspector is authorized to act may be assigned by the central government or state government. Next is the Ballav state of Uttar Pradesh. Wheat consumers want what consumers wants, it's important. So when a person is purchasing mustard oil, the standards to which it should conform is the standard prescribed under the item A17.06. In case the purchaser has not been supplied with the commodity which he was seeking to purchase, the question then arises as to whether the article of the food will be deemed to be adulterated as defined in section 2A of the Act. Imported rapeseed oil and mustard oil are two distinct edible oils which are known as such in common parlance and also according to the different standard prescribed under the rule. In case the person asks for mustard oil and is supplied with the imported rapeseed oil, there cannot be any manner of doubt the nature, the substance and the quality of the article which is demanded by the purchaser is not the same. So the edible oil which is supplied to the purchaser is different commodity altogether and hence shall be termed as adulterated as defined in section 2A of the Act. Next is your Neel Kamal Narendra Mohan versus State of Haryana 2007 FAJ 378. The petitioners violated the provision of Rule 32 of the PFA rule as the sweetened carbonated water was not labeled and the sample contained saccharine sodium. Rule 32 says that every pre-packed food is to carry a label, and he was convicted by the Chief Judicial Magistrate 16(1)(a) and was sentenced to undergo simple imprisonment for 1 year and to pay a fine of 1,000 rupees. Next comes your the Pepsi case. In 1998, a cockroach was found floating in the bottle of the Pepsi. A complaint was filed against MS Pepsi Food Limited and the distributor and his retail outlet. They were guilty as the article was insect infested, making it unfit for human consumption. The applicant approached the Delhi Consumer Commission after his complaint was dismissed by the district forum, saying that the bill produced by him nowhere specifically mentioned that the drink was Pepsi, and it also did not carry the name of the person who had bought it, and it further found fault in the complaint saying that the bill was of ₹80 and a Pepsi bottle cannot cost this much. So the commission differed from this view and said that the forum had failed to appreciate the fact that the 4 bottles were purchased by the applicants, and after the commission's judgment, the applicant was awarded compensation of ₹1,000 for the petitioners were directed to pay the damage to him for the mental agony and shock that he had suffered. Next is your Cadbury India Limited versus Niranjan. The chocolate, when opened, was found to be infested with the worms and fungus. The complainant approached the district forum for the compensation. The petitioners contended that they always comply with the norms provided by the various legislation such as PFA Act, Standards of Weight and Measures Act, etc. And if it is not kept in a cool place by the retailers or the shopkeepers, then the petitioner should not be blamed. Next is the Ramesh Chandra Nair and the state Rajasthan 2008 FAJ 422, Section 17 on nomination. According in this case, the aerated water drink bottle sample manufactured by MS Ajmer Bottling Company Private Limited was found to be adulterated. Prosecutions of the manufacturing company, persons from whom sample was drawn, and petitioners who were promoters of the manufacturing company. The petition was for quashing proceeding. Next is the topic procedures for launching prosecutions. Okay, the food safety officer shall responsible for inspection of food business, drawing samples and sending them to the food analyst for analysis. The food analyst, or after receiving the sample from the food safety officer, shall analyze the sample and send the analysis report mentioning method of the sample and analysis within the 14 days to designated officer with a copy to commissioners of food safety. Now the designated officer, after scrutiny of the report of the food analyst, shall decide as to whether the contraventions is punishable with the imprisonment or fine only, and in case of contraventions punishable with the imprisonment, he shall send his recommendations within 14 days to the commissioner of the food safety for sanctioning prosecutions. Now the commissioner of the food safety shall, if he so deems fit, decide within the period prescribed by the central government as per the gravity of the offence, whether the matter be referred to whether to the court of ordinary jurisdiction in case of offence punishable with the imprisonment for a term up to 3 years, or second case may be a special court in case of offence punishable within the imprisonment for a term exceeding 3 years, where such special court is established, and in case no special court is established, such cases shall be tried by a court of ordinary jurisdiction. The commissioners of food safety shall communicate his decision to the designated officer, and the concerned food safety officer, who shall launch prosecutions before court of ordinary jurisdiction or special court as the case may be, and such communication shall also be sent to the purchaser if the sample was taken under the section 40. Next is your purchasers may have food analyzed, and that comes under your section 40. Purchaser of any article of the food other than the food safety officer shall have the right to analyze the food by a food analyst on payment of the fees, and receiving a report of this analysis from the analyst within a specified period as may be specified in the regulation. In that case, the purchaser shall inform the food business operator at the time of purchase of his intention to have such article analyzed, and if the report of the food analyst shows that the articles of the food is not in compliance with the act or the rules or regulations made thereunder, the purchaser shall be entitled to get refund of the fees paid by him under this section. In case the food analyst finds that the sample in contraventions of the provisions of this act and the rules and regulations made thereunder, the food analyst shall forward the report to the designated officer to follow the procedures laid down in section 42 for the prosecutions. Next comes your defenses which may or may not be allowed. That comes under your section 80. Here the defense relating to publication of advertisement. The first is the in any proceeding for any an offence under this act in relation to the publication of an advertisement, it is a defense for a person to prove that the person carried on the business of publishing or arranging for the publication of advertisement, and that the person published or arranged for the publication of advertisement in questions to the ordinary course of that business. Clause 1 does not apply if the person reasonably have known the publication of the advertisement was an offence, or if he had previously been informed in writing by the relevant authority that the publications of such an advertisement would constitute an offence. Third case may be if the food business operator or otherwise engaged in the conduct of a food business for which the advertisement concerned were published. Next defense is comes that due to diligence. According to this, in any proceeding for an offense, it is a defense if it is provided that the person took all reasonable precautions and exercised all due diligence to prevent the commission of the offense by such person or by another person under the person's control, without limiting the ways in which the person may satisfy the requirement of the clause. Person satisfies those requirement if it is proved to the commissioners of the officers was due to an act or default of another person, or reliance on information supplied by another person, or the person carried out all such checks of the food concerned, or that a person did not import the food into the jurisdiction, and many other points. Under person in subclause of clause 2 does not include a person who is an employee or agent of the defendant, or in the case of a defendant which is a company, a director or employee and an agent that company, without limiting the ways in which the person may satisfy the requirement of the clause 1. An item of subclause clause 2, person may satisfy those requirements by providing that in that case of an offense relating to a food safety program as required to be prepared in accordance with the regulation, or the person complied with the scheme that was designed and documented to manage food safety hazard based on the national and international standards, codes or guidance or design for the purpose. Next comes your defense in respect of handling food. In proceeding for an offense under the section 56, it is a defense if it is proved that the person destroyed or disposed of the food immediately after finding the food was handled in the manner that was likely to render it unsafe. Next point is your defense of mistaken and reasonable belief not available. In any proceeding or for an offense under the provision of this act, it is no defense that the defendant had a mistaken but reasonable belief as to the fact that constituted the offense. Next is your defense of significance of the nature, substance or quality of the food. It shall be no defense in prosecutions pertaining to the sale of any unsafe or misbranded article of the food to allege merely that the food business operator was ignorant of the nature, substance or quality of the food sold by him, or that the purchaser having purchased any article for the analysis was not prejudiced by the sale. Thank you for being with us. For more information, please log on to our website www.itlsacademy.com. You can also follow us on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, WhatsApp, LinkedIn, and yes, do not forget to subscribe our channel ITLS Academy at YouTube. Thank you.